Hey guys, JJ here, and with the conclusion of the Winters family saga, many Resident Evil fans are wondering where the story will go next, what characters will return, and what open plot lines will be explored. While we won't know for sure the direction Capcom will take the series until it's officially announced, we do have some good indicators. So with that being said, let's get right into it. To the surprise of many, Capcom made an official announcement that the Winters family saga would come to an end with the Shadows of Rose DLC. While this was the end of the Winters family story arc, another story arc was just beginning. Series-long protagonist and arguably the face of the Resident Evil series, Chris Redfield, made his appearance at the end of Resident Evil 7 when he rescued the Winters from their horrific journey at the Baker house. His story was then expanded on a bit more in the Not a Hero DLC, and his spotlight with the Winters family grew significantly more in Resident Evil Village. Not only did Chris's involvement expand, but we also got the introduction of the elite BSAA task force captained by Chris Redfield himself, the Houndwolf Squad. Each member of the team had their own unique skill set and personalities. While so much depth had been given to each member of the team, not much of this made its way into Village's story. This raises the question, was there so much attention put into each member of the Houndwolf Squad for something more? That very well may be the case. At the end of Resident Evil Village, while Chris and the others are making their escape from the village moments before the self-destruct sequence had been activated, it's discovered by Chris's partner that the BSAA had been using bioweapons for their involvement in Village. This shocking revelation infuriated Chris. The organization that he helped create with the purpose of ending bioweapons are now using their very own bioweapons. Over the last few years, Chris Redfield and the Houndwolf Squad became very weary of the BSAA. This is why they were rogue in Resident Evil Village. Discovering the BSAA's use of bioweapons only furthered their case. To add to this, when extracting the 3D models used in-game, we discovered that these bioweapons were actually modeled off of Chris Redfield himself. Are these bioweapons clones of Chris Redfield, or is it just a reused asset? Only time will tell. In a fit of uncontrollable rage, Chris tells the pilot to plot course for BSAA Europe HQ and declares that someone's gotta pay. Okay, maybe he wasn't that mad, but he was pretty mad. This not only sets up the direction for the series moving forward, but also continues Chris's new unfinished character arc. It also explains why so much thought was put into each member of the Houndwolf Squad, as they will most likely play a larger role in Resident Evil 9. This isn't the first time there's been corruption in the BSAA. During the events of Resident Evil Revelations, it was revealed that moles had been working in the BSAA. This same story could be currently playing out, but who would those moles be this time around? It could possibly be the new mysterious group set up in Resident Evil 7, the Connections. The Connections seem to have their hands in many different areas within the Resident Evil lore. They developed Evelyn and also worked with Mother Miranda. Members of the Connections may have infiltrated the BSAA and sent soldiers to the village to collect samples of the Megamycete. This direction would make the most logical sense moving forward. I would honestly be surprised if Capcom didn't go this route and instead moved in a completely different direction. Everything thus far has been building to this. So we all know that Resident Evil 9 is most likely going to feature Chris Redfield and his Houndwolf Squad as they further investigate the BSAA's use of bioweapons, but how will it play? If the series past is anything to indicate with Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 6, then Resident Evil 9 will be more focused on action as each trilogy tends to move further in that route. Given that Chris and his team will be going up against intelligent and potential clones of Chris Redfield himself, there's a good chance that these enemies will be able to fight back with weapons. Enemies that use weapons had been done before in previous Resident Evil games, such as Resident Evil 4 through 6. The thought of fighting intelligent soldiers seems less like a survival horror game and more like an action shooter to me. The good news is, over the last several games, Capcom seems to be paying attention to the audience feedback and will hopefully find a way to inject more horror elements this time around. Moving on now to weapons and upgrades. If Resident Evil 9 will focus more on fast-paced, action-focused combat, there's a good chance item boxes will be removed for the attaché cases, featured in Resident Evil Village and the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake. Between Village and 4 Remake, Capcom's had the chance to use and improve this feature over time. With this feature also comes a merchant-type character, someone that will follow the player throughout the game and offer weapons and upgrades in exchange for currency. Which camera perspective will Resident Evil 9 feature, first person or over the shoulder? With the surprise addition of the over the shoulder camera for Resident Evil Village and the fact that the Shadows of Rose DLC only featured third person, there's a good chance this will be the main camera perspective for Resident Evil 9. However, if a deal is made once again with Sony, then there will potentially also be a first person perspective available as an option for PSVR 2. Lastly, what characters from the series past will return? If Resident Evil 9 features Chris Redfield and the Houndwolf Squad investigating the BSAA, then there's a good chance we'll also see the return of Jill Valentine, as she's also a member of the BSAA. The series started with Chris and Jill. To close out the new trilogy with both of them would be very fitting and make the most logical sense. So there you have it. Based on the information we've been given thus far and learning from past experience, this is where I think Resident Evil series will go heading forward with Resident Evil 9. But now I'm curious to know your thoughts. Do you think Resident Evil 9 will explore Chris's investigation of the BSAA, or do you think it will move in a completely new direction? Do you think we'll see the return of the Houndwolf Squad and Jill Valentine, or completely new characters? What direction would you like to see this series go moving forward? Let us know down below in the comments and let's have a discussion about it. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and make sure to subscribe for all the latest Resident Evil news. The Residents of Evil is a Patreon supported channel and also supported by our YouTube members. So if you'd like to become a member and unlock access to custom badges, emojis, and exclusive live streams, click that join button down below. You can join our survival horror community on Discord, link will be in the description, and I have the Duke here to tell you a little about our sponsor, G Fuel.
Do you have need of anything for the road ahead? The Residents of Evil has expanded its services. Perhaps you're in need of a little pick-me-up. I recommend the G Fuel. You can even get a fair discount if you use the code ROE upon purchase. And as always, we thank you for your patronage, stranger.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you back at the Residents of Evil.